I think we need to start showing some bigger love. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown, we talk about him, and I say we, maybe it's me. I always talk about how he's such a good wide receiver, how he's borderline elite, how he is a slot ninja, but he can also play on the outside. Like we always give him a lot of props. But do you believe that he is actually a top 5 receiver in the NFL? And I'm going to give you a second to answer that question. Feel free to leave a comment below. Do you believe he's a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL? It's hard for me to do that after just 2 years. Also, knowing that a lot of the stuff he does is work underneath and things like that. So I'm trying to decide. I'm still trying to figure out if he is a really good wide receiver, if he's an elite receiver, or if he is just a straight, special, different kind of dude. Well, let's look at something here. PFF came out with their grades, their coverage grades, and they did it in specific categories. I'm going to cover a couple of these, but Amon-Ra St. Brown is the best NFL receiver versus man coverage. Now, this is on Pride of Detroit. I have a subscription to PFF, so I'll read you some of the other guys and what that's looking at, but I'm not going to give you everything because that's behind a paywall. But one area he will not, one area where he can't grow much, they're saying on Pride of Detroit, is against man coverage. And that's because he was the #1 player. He posted a PFF grade of 90.8. Well, that's good. He just edged both Jamar Chase and CD Lamb, who posted 90.7. In other words, he did his job. He won his battle. He did his job to perfection 91% of the time. That's basically what that's saying. He did what he had to do. PFF's Braxton Howard said St. Brown had a career year last season for Detroit, proving to be one of the league's best slot receivers. No. The league's best slot receiver. Let's not get this wrong. I mean, I understand you can talk Cooper Kupp. I get that. He was hurt. Last year, St. Brown was the best slot receiver in the league. PFF numbers back it up. He had an impressive 127.7 NFL passer rating when targeting against man coverage, which ranked inside the top 10. Not only did he rank in the top 10 in that area, but also with 2.82 yards per route run, both which were better numbers than what he posted against zone coverage. So it goes on to talk about how he was good against zone coverage too. He was 9th, I believe, in PFF rating in zone coverage. So where does he kind of rank amongst the great players? Well, I wanted to say, all right, who's the cream of the crop in this? It's Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is the only player who was drafted the same year as St. Brown that is outpacing St. Brown, that we can honestly say, based on the numbers, eye test, whatever you want to call it, is better than him. St. Brown has a total of, in 2 years, 196 grabs. Jamar Chase has 168. St. Brown has 2,073 yards. Jamar Chase has 2,500. All right, these are some of the differences. St. Brown's average is 10.6, but going up. Jamar Chase is 14.9, but going down. Last year, I'm gonna get into this in a second. Jamar Chase has 22 touchdowns to St. Brown's 11, and that is a big difference. But here's what I will say. Last year, St. Brown averaged 11 yards per catch. His rookie year, it was 10.1. So he's on an upward trajectory in yards, but not that crazy. Jamar Chase, his rookie year, averaged 18 yards per catch on 81 catches. That is absolute insanity. But last year, he came back to earth. Now, I know there was some injury stuff and all that kind of stuff. St. Brown had some injury stuff too. But last year, he averaged 12 yards. So let's just go last year alone. And I know, like I said, Jamar Chase had some injuries. So did St. Brown. Chase went 87 catches, 1,046 yards, 12-yard average, and 9 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 106 catches, 1,161 yards, he had more yards than him, an 11-yard average per catch for 6 touchdowns. You can make the argument that year one Chase, and when you take year one with year two, Chase is the better receiver. But if you just look at their second year in the league, Amon-Ra St. Brown outpaced Jamar Chase, who is the undoubted number one receiver in that class and an undoubted probably what people would consider the second best wide receiver in the NFL behind Justin Jefferson. And look no further than fantasy football drafts. Who's going second after Justin Jefferson? It's Jamar Chase. And in some cases, Chase first. But St. Brown is right there. He's right there. So if you're wondering who the other highest graded receivers are because you're thinking to yourself, PFF, get that out of here. I don't want to talk about PFF. I don't want to see anything like that. Number one is St. Brown. Number two is Jamar Chase. Tied for second is CD Lamb. Fourth is AJ Brown. Number five is Mike Williams of the Chargers. Six is Garrett Wilson of the Jets. Seven is T. Higgins of the Bengals. Do you think that has something to do with Joe Burrow over there? Just saying. Number 8 is Justin Jefferson at 86.9. Number 9 is Judy, and 10 is Tyreek Hill. Do you think that these are bad receivers? You can make the argument that those are the top 10 wide receivers in the league. Like, I'm not saying it's a great argument. There's a couple of guys that I might have out of there and, in a little different area. But some guys, I mean, like Kupp didn't get enough snaps, things like that. So, yeah, like it does make sense. And what they measure is, did you do your job? And St. Brown was doing his job. So, yes, is he the best receiver in the NFL? My answer, because I have to answer the question as of right now, how this video is titled. My question or my answer to that would be no, he's not the best receiver in the NFL, but he is absolutely, I would want nobody else in the slot. And I would say he is at least a top 10 receiver in the NFL at this point. There's a lot of good receivers. You want to put those guys that are just the athletic freaks that can do crazy things out there, but St. Brown just gets the job done. And it was really cool because I'm wondering, like, what is it that makes him so good? Randall L. actually talked specifically about his ability to get in and out of breaks quickly. He said this: he can get in and out of cuts so easily. He doesn't have to do all that extra stuff because he can get in and out so fast. That's what makes him get open in man coverage. That's what gets it done. Yes, he's very good. Yes, it is fun to watch. Yes, he gets separation. Can't wait to see what's going to happen. The only thing that's different is his average depth of catch or target is 6.7 yards. That's 89th out of 97 wide receivers. And I think that's what kind of brings them down a little bit. Chase is 9.8. Lamb is 10.3. They have very different jobs. But St. Brown actually went on to talk about that too. He said, I don't really get the ball thrown to me much down the field. I'm not getting some of those opportunities some of the other players are getting. That's something I want to get more opportunities to do going forward. He's working on it. He wants to get it. And I'm not going to be the one to tell him he can't do it. I think he can. What do you think? Is he the best receiver in the NFL? Probably not, is my thing. But man, I'm sure glad we got him, because he's right up there. And he has the mentality that until he is unequivocally the best, he is going to continue to try and prove that he is. All right, see you on the next one. Leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.